Hello, hello. No one. This is a test. This is a test. I am going to be going live here Wednesday evening. So I just wanted to test because I low key got worried. I'd be doing a lot of things on my phone. Well, let me just say hello. First, let me say hello. Who the heck am I? My name is Lesline. I show new moms how to put themselves first through the use of yoga. Hence, this channel is called Yoga with Lesline. So, we are going to be starting our 30-day yoga challenge. I'm just putting you down. We're going to be starting our 30-day yoga challenge. Let me close the door. Give me one moment. Okay, so we're going to be starting our 30-day yoga challenge tomorrow. Tomorrow is July 1st. This is the last day of June. What? I don't know. But anyways, so with that being said, I was thinking like a way to make it more community based, more interactive is because all of the videos, with the exception of maybe a couple, are pre-recorded. You're going to see that tomorrow. Like that's neither here nor there, but they are pre-recorded videos. And with that being said, though, I want to help hold you all accountable. I'm a very disciplined person. Come hell or high water, I am going to get my wellness in for me on the daily. It might not look the same every day, but I'm going to get it done. And the only way I was able to be the way that I am, I'm not going to front. I'm going to say this part, which I don't feel like a lot of people say. I feel like the way that I am is genetic, is just genetically how I am. I'm a very like routine based person, disciplined person. I feel like a lot of that comes from both of my parents. But anyways, I say that to say it wasn't until, because with school, I got all my schoolwork done, all of that. But then, after having kids and things like that, I kind of had, I don't want to say a rude awakening, but I was like, okay, I need to find this new me. How do I do that? So I hired a life coach and a therapist. They helped transform my life. And my life coach specifically taught me how to habit stack, taught me how to create habits. I worked with her for 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. And within that, habits were created. I learned how to habit stack, and that habit stacking thing, chef's kiss. And so I say all that to say this 30-day yoga challenge, yes, you're going to get a stretch in, but my hopes is that you learn how to build a habit. My hopes are that you learn how to stick to something when the motivation goes away. And that's something else over on another social media app. I'm doing a 30-day yoga challenge. This isn't like something I'm hosting. It's something that's just trending on another app. And it's a 30-day squat challenge, currently just completed day 16 today. And it's interesting how like some people came on like when I started maybe like day 3 and then they fell off, or some people messaged me and were like, oh, I want to start. I'm like, start. Like you can start, like like there's no rules. You just start. You start whenever your day 1 is, which is today, right? And it's just interesting because I haven't people do a lot of talking is what I'm getting at. And that's something that is a big pet peeve of mine, because I'm very like, go, go, go. Like if you tell me, that's something else with me. If you tell me, oh, I want to do this, I'm going to remember it and I'm going to start sending you stuff about it. But then I'm very like, can pick up on energy. So if I notice that you're like not giving the same energy back anymore, I'll just Homer Simpson, and you won't even remember I existed. So with that being said, going back to my yoga challenge is, oh my gosh, my computer, story of my life, is about to die. My yoga challenge that starts tomorrow. Let me just plug this in before it dies. Okay, so my yoga challenge that will be starting tomorrow, we are going to meet weekly right here. So you're already subscribed, you're already in. That's it. So with that being said, though, you're gonna start seeing the videos pop up every day. I believe it's either 7 a.m. or 8. I think it's 7, something like early for those that are morning people. I feel like the majority of people I know, including my husband, are evening people, but I'm a morning person. So that's just something selfish that I'm doing. I'm putting it first thing in the morning. You do it when you want, but we'll talk about that on I'm trying to figure that part out still, but Wednesday at about I think 6:30 p.m. I'll get on here for about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll talk about creating habits, or we will, because that's something else too. I'm a one woman show, but I know what is going to happen is people, they haven't even built it into their day, like this yoga challenge. And that's also why yesterday I launched the calendar for you. And shout out to my husband, because I was like, oh, I have to launch this 30-day calendar. And if I'm gonna be really honest with you all, we are building the plane. What's the saying? We're building the plane as it's flying. And like I have majority of the videos done. It's just the matter of being like, here you go. This is like the whole 30 days because yeah. So anyways, he was like, well, if you already have I have the first 8 actually done, like published, scheduled. He was like, just do weekly calendars. And I was like, I actually like that because it's more palatable. If you are somebody like me who gets easily overwhelmed, what I just said to you, where I was like, oh my God, I have to give them a 30-day calendar because I'm basing it off of other yoga teachers that I've seen do this same thing. And I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit different. So the weekly calendar is posted on the post or the community tab for you. I advise you to screenshot it, not just screenshot it. Let me go further with that. You're going to screenshot it and you're either going to print it and put it somewhere that you see all the time, or you are going to put it as your screensaver on your phone, because I know you're always looking at your phone and that's no judgment. I just know that's what you're always doing. I am too. So we're going to make it easier, because if you see the Lesline's 30-day yoga challenge image staring at you, that is going to hopefully do something in your brain, right? And so I think actually this is what I'm just gonna kill two birds with one stone. So we talked about that. We're gonna meet weekly. You can ask questions right in the chat related to the challenge. Where are you struggling? Where do you need help? What stretches would you like to see? Right. So now we're gonna talk about habit stacking. Like, how do I fit this in my day? So, as I already mentioned, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, when do you have the most energy? So, again, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, when do you have the most energy in the day? Like, when do you notice that you're like tasks that you normally don't like doing, such as laundry or washing dishes, like things like that? When are you like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this, or maybe it's not even things like that. Maybe it's just when do you notice that you are at your highest peak in your day? And if you're like, I don't really know, I just go through my day, that is no judgment, but that is where yoga comes in. That is where specifically mindfulness comes in, which is one aspect of yoga. Yoga is a multifaceted practice. It is not just the physical practice, right? So, with that being said, though, that's why I love yoga so much, because I know for me, like I mentioned to you, that I am a morning person. From about 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., ooh, favorite time of day. Chef's kiss, okay? After that, it's a wrap, if I would be honest with you. And it's like, girl, like that's the rest of the day, 11 to 11 p.m., like 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Like, what are you doing, right? And right now is not a good time of day for me, but I'm doing this because it's slow with my corporate job. But I say all that to say, so that's the first question you ask yourself. When is your peak? Like, when do you feel your best? And if you're like, I don't know, starting tomorrow, which is the yoga challenge, but starting tomorrow, I want you to notice and just jot it down. Like, when you feel the happiest, when do you feel like you have the most energy? Okay. After you figure out when you feel like you have the most energy, then you're going to either whatever calendar you have. So I'm just going to use the phone, for example, right? What I would do is I'd be like, okay, if I know I have my peak energy is 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm going to do my yoga thing, my yoga practice. I'm going to do it 9 a.m. I'm just putting that out there. Realistically, no, I have to do it before I start work, but 9 a.m. And I'm going to put it in my phone. In my phone, I'm going to put from 9 a.m. to 9:30 is yoga. So I'm just going to put that, and it's going to pop up as a reminder every single day, and you can schedule it for the next 30 days, okay? So that's the second thing. So now it's scheduled just the same way as you schedule your kid's dentist appointment, your kid's doctor appointment. And I have to say it like that because I realize as moms, especially like as a new mom, you get so caught up in your kids' stuff, as you should. You know, we're not saying neglect your children, no, but it's like we forget about ourselves. But that same like, oh my God, I gotta go to this appointment, get this appointment done. I have to make sure I'm on time. I want you to have that same energy behind this yoga challenge. Like, okay, oh my gosh, it's almost 9 o'clock. I gotta make sure I get on the mat. Speaking of getting on the mat, I want you to pick a designated space in your home. It doesn't have to look anyway. Hell, you see, I have nothing on my walls. I got like one picture over there, and I actually have a couple of more pictures. But don't overthink it and be like, well, the space is ugly, whatever. It doesn't matter. You just need to pick a designated space in your home, lay out the yoga mat from tonight, just have it there. If you have pets, they are going to lay on it, so maybe just like roll it up in the corner of where you're going to practice, because my dog, when I do lay out my yoga mat, he just lays on it and then it gets hairy. But anyways, what we're working through is the barriers that you are going to come against when you start the yoga challenge tomorrow. What's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh my God, it's already 11 p.m. I'm tired, right? And there's something that my coach taught me is about decision fatigue. So by the end of the day, and everybody's wired differently, because I've met people that say, oh, I do my workout at night. Like that's their highest peak of energy. That's when they know that their energy is at the highest, right? But majority of times what happens with people, if you do not have a wellness practice, right? What happens is you'll remember at the end of the day, because you got so caught up in your kids, somebody was sick, you had to do this, you had to do that, you had an impromptu meeting put on your calendar, right? So many things happen that you just like by the end of the day comes and your brain is finally like calmed down, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what about me? It's too late, and you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. So I talk very frankly over here. You're going to notice that about me, but I just am putting this video. It's going to be saved onto my feed so that this sets you up for success. Okay. So today is June 30th, 2025. The yoga challenge starts July 1st, 2025. We are then going to meet right here on Wednesday, July 2nd at 6:30 p.m. I want you to come ask whatever questions you have. What are your barriers? I already gave you multiple tips of how to set up your day to prevent you from the decision fatigue that happens to everybody at the end of the day, right? It is blurry. Let me just wipe this. I've been blurry this whole time. That is so blah. The lighting is crap. I know. But I think that's it. So I just, that's pretty much explaining everything. You'll notice too that the first week is it's only one pose a day. So that's something else too. I'm meeting you where you are at this first week, because this yoga challenge is specifically for new moms, but also specifically for people who have never practiced yoga. And let me not say never, but people that have done like yoga maybe here or there. I don't want people that are like, I know pranayama and I know blah, blah. I don't want none of that. I know that sounds bad, but I don't want people like that in this space. I want people that they've heard about yoga, they've seen it online, and they've done, you've done maybe other yoga classes online, that does count. But now you're looking to like build consistency with your yoga practice. And it's not even about the yoga, if I'm really going to be honest with y'all. It's about proving to yourself that you can commit to yourself for the next 30 days. I will leave you with this. I was reading my Bible this morning. Specifically, I was reading Proverbs. I've been going through Proverbs, kind of fell off for a little bit. But today, because this is a little tangent, but I just came back from a 7-day cruise, okay? And sorry, it's really loud downstairs. I came back from a 7-day cruise, and with that being said, I wasn't working my corporate job for the past 7 days or 5 days, because I don't work weekends originally. But the anxiety that I was having last night, the Sunday scaries as they're called, oh my goodness. So like this morning, I had to use what I share with you all. I had to put it to myself. And I actually have a whole post about that, like the 3 things that I did. And anyways, one of those things I did, I woke up, I sat in my bed, and I just sat there, put my feet on the ground, and just allowed myself to just be. Because so many times we get up, this is something else I tell clients, you get up and you immediately pick up the phone and you just start scroll, doom, because let's be real, it's all it is online, right? Doom, right? And then you don't even realize, but then you're stressed, right? So what I did today, my phone was somewhere else. It wasn't even in the room. And so I sat up, I just sat there. I did a silent meditation, if we're going to put a name on it, right? And then I was like, let me read my Bible. And then I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, let me read my Bible. And I cracked my Bible open to Proverbs. Like I said, I've been going through it. I think it was like Proverbs 13 or 14. But in this specific chapter of Proverbs, he talks a lot about discipline. And I can talk about discipline all day. And today in the 30-day squat challenge that I'm doing on another platform, this morning I didn't want to do it. And I realized the motivation is gone. The motivation is gone. Now it's the discipline that is kicking in. Discipline, you either are genetically wired to be a disciplined person, or it's a muscle, okay? Like I said, I got a little column A, a little column B, okay? I've just always been, like, my report cards, I've always said I'm a conscientious student. Like, I just get things done. I've never had a problem, right? But with that being said, in Proverbs, they were talking about discipline and how a person that is disciplined, that does hard work, like pretty much, I am butchering this, but you live a long life, you are successful, like you get everything you want and need in life when you are disciplined. So it's so interesting to me how, and I think this is the last thing I want to say, but people will use social media as a cop-out. What am I saying? Okay, so I've been really active on social media, and people will project and they'll be like, yeah, I want to do it too, but la la la, right? And it's like, okay, like I'm not telling you have to do that, but I do hope that in one other area of your life, at least one, because I'm not all my areas in life are perfect. Let me put that out there. Nobody in every area of somebody's life is perfect. But I hope that if it's not social media that you're going to be disciplined in and creating and putting good in the world, I hope that there's another area of your life that you are being disciplined, if that means with your finances, with your marriage, with the relationship that you're building with your children. Like, I hope there is one area in life that you are practicing that discipline and not projecting on me like, oh, like but it's like, are you disciplined anywhere else? Because that's really like, the people that win on social media are the people that are disciplined, are the people that don't let up. Okay. And I haven't even been doing this that long. It feels like I have, but I haven't. So I leave you with that. Discipline is what I hope you gain from this 30-day yoga challenge. So I will see you all on Wednesday right here, not same time. And that's bleh. I will see you here Wednesday, July 2nd, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye for now.